Once upon a time, in the ancient city of Rome, there lived a man named Marcus. He was not a king or a general, but a simple merchant who sold olive oil in the marketplace. Marcus had worked hard all his life, saving every coin, dreaming of one day owning the largest olive grove in the region. He believed that success was just around the corner. But one day, disaster struck. A terrible storm flooded his storage house, ruining all his oil. His savings were gone, his business was destroyed, and his dream seemed impossible. Marcus felt as if the world had turned against him. He could have given up, cursed the gods, or drowned in misery. But instead, he chose a different path, the path of the Stoics. Marcus remembered the teachings of the great Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Seneca. They had said that failure is not the end, but a test of character. The Stoics believed that true strength comes not from avoiding hardships, but from facing them with wisdom and calm. Marcus decided to apply these lessons to his own life. He sat down and asked himself the first Stoic question: what is within my control? He realized that the storm was beyond his control, but his response to it was not. He could choose to let despair consume him, or he could stand up and rebuild. With this clarity, Marcus began to see his failure differently. He understood that the loss of his oil was not a punishment, but an event, neither good nor bad in itself. It was his judgment of the event that made it painful. The Stoics taught that external things, money, reputation, even health, are not truly ours. They can be taken away at any moment. The only thing that belongs to us is our ability to choose how we react. Marcus chose to react with courage. Next, Marcus practiced another Stoic principle: acceptance. Instead of fighting against what had happened, he accepted it fully. He told himself, this is the reality. Resisting it will only bring more suffering. Acceptance did not mean giving up. It meant seeing the truth clearly so he could act wisely. He sold what remained of his damaged goods, used the little money he had left to buy new supplies, and started again. This time, he was wiser. He built stronger storage, spread his business across different locations, and prepared for future storms. But Marcus knew that failure could strike again. The Stoics taught that life is unpredictable, and the only way to find peace is to expect challenges. So, he began practicing negative visualization, imagining the worst-case scenarios before they happened. He asked himself, what if another storm comes? What if my customers leave me? By facing these fears in his mind, he became less afraid of them in reality. He realized that even if the worst happened, he would still have his character, his ability to adapt, and his inner strength. Months passed, and Marcus's business grew slowly but steadily. He faced setbacks, a dishonest partner, a season of poor harvests, but each time he met them with the same stoic calm. He reminded himself that failure was not his enemy, but his teacher. Every loss taught him something new. Every difficulty made him stronger. He no longer feared failure because he knew it could not break him unless he let it. One day a young merchant came to Marcus, despairing over his own ruined business. The young man said, I have lost everything. I don't know how to go on. Marcus smiled and shared his story. He told the young man about Stoicism, about focusing only on what he could control, accepting what he could not, and using every failure as a step toward wisdom. The young man listened, and slowly, hope returned to his eyes. Years later, Marcus became known not just as a successful merchant, but as a wise man. People came to him for advice on how to handle their own failures. He always said the same thing: failure does not define you. Your reaction to it does. You cannot control the storm, but you can control how you sail your ship. And so Marcus lived a life of resilience and peace, not because he never failed, but because he learned how to fail like a Stoic. His story reminds us that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. The path to inner strength is not paved with constant victories, but with the quiet courage to rise every time we fall. The Stoics were right. The obstacle is not the enemy. The obstacle is the way. When we face failure with wisdom, we transform it into strength. And that is how we handle failure like a Stoic.